Will you look at that? Did you see my talking head wondering, is she going to continue to mute herself? Ah, well, here I am, and let me start again. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the last episode of Serial Content Bootcamp. You can see that we have already covered 5 weeks of choosing the best content, developing your writing habit, your first 3 installments to outline or to not outline, and writing episodes and incorporating reader feedback. So now, whether you've already published your Kindle Vella story or you're in the process of planning to publish, writing, or developing, we have the opportunity to think, how are you going to teach people? Or how are you going to bring people to you? How are you going to attract readers? And how are you going to activate your fan base already? So that's going to be our focus of today. For promotion today, we're going to focus on cover art and tags and how to activate your fan base. So for cover art and tags, we're looking at research, cover design. Let me go back here for a second. So for cover art and tags, we're going to discuss doing genre research about all the different cover options that are out there, and we're going to discuss what's most important about how you choose your tags. We're also going to discuss in activating your fan base, how to update your personal sites and using social media and newsletters to activate the fans that you already have, and to use those fans to get new readers excited to come and enjoy your Kindle Vella stories, and just you as an author and all of the different things that you have to offer, whether on Amazon or all of your other platforms that you publish on. So let's get into it. Let's look at some cover art. Okay, so for cover art in Kindle Vella, what you need to do is have a look at what is the central image. So the central image here is what's going to be in the center of the circle. But what's interesting about the Vella platform is that that's not how you upload your image. You upload your image as a square. So let's talk about what the specifics are for how to upload your image. So let me make this bigger for you to see. You're going to upload square images with visuals centered. Vella is going to convert your image to a circle. So the goal for you is to put the most interesting, eye-catching things in the center. And then Vella will circle around that, kind of like cutting out a sugar cookie for holidays, birthdays, etc. That cookie cutter is what Vella is going to do to your square image. Now, you may want to jot this down. It's also on KDP's Vella help website. There's a minimum of 72 DPI, so you want to make sure that it's an high def image, an HD image that you're going to upload. If you're designing it on your own, you want to make sure that it is 1600 by 1600 pixels. So again, you're going to start designing as a square, and that's going to cut it out into a circle. Now, whether you're using Canva or any other design software, you can create your own image size using these dimensions. Now, we do want it to be in HD, but also your file should be less than 2 megabytes. Now, that shouldn't be a problem if you're saving it as a JPEG or a TIFF, all right? And so usually I save as a JPEG, and that, especially on Canva or on something like Adobe Photoshop, gives you the option to see how many megabytes the file is going to be when you save it. And if for some reason it's over 2 megabytes, you can lower the quality a little bit to ensure that Amazon is going to accept the file upload. Now, do not repurpose your book cover. It's not recommended that you use something old. Even if you're writing a continuation of a book that you've already published, maybe you are writing not just a continuation, but an enhancement, a prequel, smaller stories about different side characters that you've always wanted to explore. You can borrow elements that make your series recognizable, but you don't want to just copy and paste your book cover on there because number one, it's misleading. This is not about that particular book. That book cover belongs to that book. And your readers are not going to be clicking on your Kindle Vella story and reading that book that you've already written and published. They're going to be reading something new. So make sure you're giving them something new with this cover art. And there should not be any text. Now, you will see when you start doing some searches in your genre of different cover art that people are using that some Vella users are putting the title of their story inside their image. Now, Vella still recommends to not do that because, as we know, when you look at the cover page of your Vella story, it's going to put the title there for you. So there's the circle, which is your cover art image, and then the title is right below it. And so having the title be both in the image and then also right below it can be overkill. Use that space, use that cover art space to your best advantage, which is going to mean really using that to give an image that's going to pull people in. And that's also going to give people hints of some of the genre expectations, whether you're using color, whether you're showing, a representation of your characters or the situation that they're in. Don't waste that space by putting your title there because your title's already going to be there nice and big and bold. Bella's going to take care of that for you. All right, so we don't recommend using text in your cover art. Now let's talk about tags. So you have the opportunity to add 7 tags to your story. Now, this is different than categories. Categories are considered like the shelves that your story might be shelved on. So that might be romance, it might be thriller, it might be nonfiction, etc. Those are the shelves. Now the tags are more about what is your book about. And tags are actually part of promoting your book because the tags are how new readers are going to find you. Sure, you can do a really great job activating your fan base, which we're going to talk about, but many new readers who are browsing Kindle Vella content are going to encounter your story because of tags. So you want to make sure that your tags are accurately representing what your content is. What are they going to find? If somebody really wants to read a pirate story, you want to make sure that if you've written the pirate story of their dreams, then one of your tags is pirate. Now, if you have not written a pirate story, but you've heard that the tag for pirates is getting a lot of action and you want to be seen by those people searching for pirates, well, stop. Don't do that. You're going to alienate your readers. They're going to start to open your story and be like, what is this? There are no pirates in this story. And then that's going to really mess with your credibility and not win you any new readers. So make sure that your tags are accurate and they really portray what is inside your story. What are the most essential elements? This is also an opportunity for you to talk about any subgenres that might be a part of your book. Pardon me. I got a little behind there. There we go. So this is one of the essential questions that I want you to ask when you're thinking about what tags should I use? What are the essential elements of my story? All right. Is there a strong heroine? Is it a space opera? Are there politics involved? Is there a love triangle, etc.? You want to think what those things are. Don't try to go with popularity. You really want to go with accuracy when it comes to your tags. All right. Imagining that the categories are the shelves where your story might be in a library or a bookstore. The tags is kind of like the card catalog. All right. So when you're looking for a particular book, if you're looking again for a pirate story, you want to be able to search that and hey, your story pops up. Okay. So think about your tags for accuracy and realize that they are a big and essential part of the promotion of your story on Kindle Vella. Now you might be asking, hey, Shanna, what about the title? Isn't the title really important? So it's kind of funny because the title is important, but I would argue that on Vella, the most important things are your cover art and your tags. Your title is really important. It can absolutely be catchy and really cool, but the way that people are going to find your new story is through the tags. So those are one of the most important promotion pieces. And then the way that we're usually drawn in, especially on a platform that uses the phone as the primary reading source, we're going to be looking at that cover image. So yes, your title is important as far as catching reader interest, but I would argue that the your cover image and also your tags are the most important. So have a cool title, but don't forget those other aspects of promotion. All right. You might want to argue with me with that. We'll see. We'll do some experimentation and see what we think. Another reminder as well that when you are adding tags, make sure that at least one of your 7 tags is book creators. And that's how we'll know how to find and support each other's work. And that's how the folks at Kindle Vella will be able to pick us out of the bunch as well. Okay, so now let's start talking about activating your fan base, which is one of the first ways that you really want to start talking about your story, even while you are writing it. So, the first thing that you want to do for your fans, for the readers that have already been interested in you and connected with you via social media or have read and purchased your book, maybe they were beta readers for you, etc., is you want to make it easy for them. You don't want to put up any barriers between them and your story. And one of the major ways that you're going to do this on Vella is by using the link. Each one of your Kindle Vella stories will have its own unique link. Now, again, I'm not talking about episodes and installments. I'm talking about your story as a whole. Each one of your stories will have its own unique link. And you want to make sure that you're spreading that link far and wide and that you're putting it in all of your communications to your fan base, that it's in, your Instagram profile, link in bio, etc. All the different ways that you want to activate your fan base, talk about this story, make sure that you're including that link. You do not want your readers to have to go into Vella on their phone and search for your story, type in your name. That's a step that they don't really need to do. And for some readers, it might stop them. And so make sure that you're using that link so that they can click it and go immediately to your story, whether they're on their phone, on their Kindle, or on their computer. All right. So make it as easy as you can to access your story and go directly there. And you want to make a list. When you're thinking about activating your fan base, you really want to identify at least 20 power fans. And don't worry, they can be your friends and family. I mean, what an incredible group of people who want to cheerlead and celebrate you as much as possible. So go ahead and activate all those big fans of your family, your friends, and some of your other readers who have connected with you. Maybe one of them sent you a direct message one time on Instagram. And maybe they tweeted about your book on Twitter. Find these types of people, all right, who can be your power fans and make a list of who they are, what their different handles are, and get them involved. All right, get them involved. Make sure that they have the link to your new story, and then perhaps involve them in some beta reading. Find a way while you're promoting your story, either before you write it or as you're writing episodes, to involve these power fans. Make sure that they're talking about your story and give them many things to talk about. All right. That's one of the really great ways and reasons to involve them in your beta reading. If you have a couple power fans, be like, before every episode launches, I want to give you the opportunity to read it and give me feedback. And then they're involved. They feel some ownership, they feel some engagement over this story, and they're more likely to share it with other people and have a lot more to say about it. So think about these 20 power fans or more and how you can activate them to really help you promote your story, because books are sold by word of mouth. There's lots of different ways there. The big three publishing houses have whole publicity departments, marketing departments, etc. But in the end, you're more likely to read a book that somebody else said was really good. You're sitting in somebody's living room, you see a book on their coffee table, you're intrigued by the cover, and you say, "Hey, what is this book?" And they say, "Oh, I loved it. Do you want to borrow it?" Well, of course you do. You want to read it too. So engage your power fans to be able to recommend your book by word of mouth. All right. Give them a lot of things to talk about. Give them whatever engagement you're able to in order to allow that word of mouth cycle to kind of do its magic. Now let's talk about updating your personal brand. As you start to create stories on Vella, you'll need to make sure that, again, you're getting the word out and you're making it easy for your readers to know that you are undergoing this new venture, that you're off on this new journey. You need to share this journey with them. And so you want to make sure that all of your personal branding is updated. So you want to ask yourself, where am I in the digital world? What are all of your different social media sites? Do you have a personal website, an author website? Do you have a blog, a podcast? What are the different ways that you interact in the digital world? And how can you make sure that you're talking about your story there and that there is a link, the link, the Vella link to your story, easily accessible on all these different sites? So take an inventory of what all of these different digital platforms are that you're a part of, where you talk about being an author, or even your personal ones, and make sure that they are updated. You want to make it easy. Also, you can add your Vella stories to your Goodreads author profile page. All right. So if you love to promote yourself on Goodreads via other Amazon Kindle books that you have, well, you can add your Vella books right there as well. Think about email newsletters, blog posts, social media posts. Start talking about your story, start including it in everything that you do as a part of your repertoire, as a new way for your readers to engage with you. Now, you might be wondering why I leave out this next part and why I leave it for last. Paid ads. Okay, so we know that books are sold by word of mouth, but paid ads are still great ways to get the word out, to put your story in front of other people. But as of right now, you cannot buy an Amazon ad, a paid Amazon ad, that for a Vella story. So unlike ad campaigns that you may have run for any of your books on the Kindle platform, it's not going to be something you can do for Vella. Right now, you can only do types of organic growth with Vella within that particular opportunity. What you can do is use other digital platforms if you would like to invest some money in the promotion of this particular story. So this is talking about Instagram, Facebook ads, doing search engine optimization, Google Ads, any of those things that you're comfortable with and have experience with are what you want to engage in to promote your Vella work. And remember, make it as easy as possible in those ads to access the story via the Vella link. This is also an opportunity for you to perhaps test out some of your cover images. Use some particular images on one ad versus the other. Do an A and B test. Does one image get more responses or more insights than the other? This might be an opportunity for you to do that even on just social media in general. It's also a really cool way to engage some of your power fans or your current readers. Have them help you choose your cover art. You know, which one do you like the better? Here are all of my different ideas. What do you think I should do? So that's what I have to say about paid ads. Now, I want to go back here for just a moment and talk about the cover design for just 1 second. I thought I had a slide in here with the URL, but I don't. So what I wanted to recommend is what I use most often and what I use to create my own Vella story cover was Canva. And so that's canva.com. I'm sure many of you are already familiar at it and probably experts. If you're not, there's many functionalities that are totally free to use. And it's a really great way to access artwork and fonts and photos that are free for you to use. And if you have the opportunity, upgrade to the Pro plan, because then the world is your oyster of art and graphics and typography and everything to make some really impactful cover art for your different stories. So let's talk about next steps, and then we'll take some questions. So what I'd like for you to do to prepare, to promote, and launch your story is to design multiple cover images on Canva. Have your fans help you choose. Have some fun with it. See what works the best. Number 2, decide on the tags that are authentic to your story's content. And number 3, update your personal brand and make it easy for readers. Use the link. And now I'd be happy to take some questions, and we'll talk a little bit more in depth about promotion. What are you guys wondering out there? We've got about 5 minutes. Can tags be changed if you think of better tags later? I think so. I think they can be updated. When you're putting in your story, and it's your story in general, you usually can update that. For example, I published one of my episodes and I went back later and I updated my description of what my story was about. And it does usually have to go through some type of approval process. For tags, it probably doesn't if you're changing the tags, but sometimes it does. So just expect that any changes that you make after you publish your story probably have to go through an approval process again. So expect to see those changes take place in about 24 hours. But you should be able to have flexibility on the tags as you continue to work and develop your story. Is there a template option or size to use for Canva? Is it best to just do a custom size? Jennifer, that's a great question. There are not Vella templates on Canva. It is best to just use a custom size. And then I've created my own templates just with that custom size and then saved it. And that's the best recommendation that I have right now for it. As you start to work in Canva and look for different ideas and what you might want to do, one of the things that I highly recommend is searching your category or searching some of your tags within the Vella site and have a look at what do everyone else's cover images look like? Do you notice any particular trend in color? And do they feature landscapes? Do they feature action shots? Are they mostly focused on people's faces, etc.? Find the other things that are recognizable in the categories or the tag categories that you want to publish in, and see how you may be able to utilize any of those things that will make your story feel more recognizable to readers who are already enjoying that particular content. Any other questions out there? So, promotion can be an ongoing process, and it's something that you can start doing even if you haven't yet decided to publish your story. It's a way for you to make that list of who your power fans are, and then figure out how can you involve them and activate them in not only helping you develop your story, but then promoting it when it really gets started. Engage them in really fun things like, hey, can you help me pick out my cover art? Can you be a beta reader? Can you make sure to write me a review in Vella and give me a thumbs up, etc.? And you know that for everyone in our book creators community, make sure that you activate all of your author friends as well. Activate your author friends, ask them to support your story, and then figure out ways that you can support their stories or their other writing as well. Everybody, it's been such a pleasure being with you on this Kindle Vella journey. I really look forward to searching the tag book creators and reading all of your incredible stories as they continue to come out. And please know that that it's been such a pleasure to be here, and that I hope that you have the best of luck on the rest of your writing journey. Bye bye, everybody.